somewhere beyond the known stars, from the frequency where questions become music. Prepare yourselves for the host of this transmission, the cosmic band leader, the dangerous question asker, Mexico Johnson.
Alrighty. Let's do this thing. Oh wait, my mic is turned on this time. I forgot to move it down. I don't know why I keep doing weird stuff with my mic. There we go. Let's lower it down a little bit. Last week, I forgot to turn the mic on. This week, the mic is on. I just forgot to put it in front of me. Let me adjust this a little bit. My bad, y'all. All right. Here. The microphone is turned on. The stream is rolling. This is another week of Let's Agree to Disagree tonight. I am your host, Mexico Johnson, aka Mexico Coast to Coast. Last week, we asked whether disclosure was dangerous for us or dangerous for the systems built to guard reality. And the unresolved signal was this: when truth is hidden long enough, the public does not simply stop asking questions. The questions mutate. They become myth, suspicion, prophecy, and pattern and pressure. My boy Tony, I see you in the chat. Appreciate you coming through, my boy. But tonight, I want to pull that thread into even stranger territory, because what if the truth being disclosed is not only about what is above us or around us or hidden inside classified rooms? What if the deeper question is about when? If some of the stories surrounding UFOs, non-human intelligence, interdimensional beings, and impossible movement through space are pointing to something stranger than travel across distance, what if they are pointing towards movement across time? Then the question changes. Tonight, I am not all just going down the rabbit hole there. I mean, there's mirrors and government paperwork and no visible fire exits. But instead of going down that rabbit hole, I just want to ask the question that comes after the premise. If time travel is real and the future can affect the past and the past can echo forward into the future, then maybe the question is not only how does it work, maybe a better question is, what do we want to say? Or what would you send forward? What would you leave behind so your past self would know unmistakably that the message came from you? So, again, greetings to all the travelers coming through. My name is Mexico Johnson, aka Mexico Coast to Coast, excuse me. I'll be your signal architect for the evening. We are here broadcasting vibrations from the New Organized World. And again, you are watching Let's Agree to Disagree tonight. Tonight's signal is tuned to a question that sounds like science fiction, feels like prophecy, and may secretly be one of the most human questions we have ever asked. Time travel. How or what? Now I know where this can go. The moment you say time travel, the room starts filling up with wormholes, paradoxes, secret programs, interdimensional visitors, future humans, grandfather problems, government silence, and at least one man on the internet who says he has already seen 2047 and how all the vending machines are worse. But tonight is not about proving the machine. Tonight is about the message. Because if time is not a locked door, if the future can touch the past, if the past can reach forward, if some version of tomorrow is already whispering into the decisions we make today, then the most important question may not be whether time travel is possible. The question may be whether we are responsible enough to speak across time. What would you say to your future self? Would you warn them? Would you apologize? Would you ask if all this effort meant something? And what would you say to your past self? Would you try to protect them from pain, or would you realize that some of the pain was the bridge that carried you here? And then there is the harder question. How would you make the message unmistakable? Because maybe the hardest part of sending a message through time is not the physics. Maybe the hardest part is getting the person you used to be to believe that help has arrived. Tonight, we're talking time travel, memory, legacy, warnings, children, ancestors, future selves, and the strange emotional technology of leaving a message that survives you. Because maybe the future is not just ahead of us, maybe the future is listening. So that's a lot to lay out there. I think tonight is an example of one of those nights where I wasn't sure what I really wanted to talk about or how we was going to make this happen here tonight. I kind of just settled into this idea of talking about time travel because last week's conversation did kind of revolve around the possibility of time travel and such things. But what really kind of solidified this for me, there was a tweet that I scrolled by in the past week that kind of like brought all of this into focus, and then we can kind of jump from there. If I bring in the TV here, I want to show y'all something that I saw this past week. Check this out. So we got the TV here, and it's just a simple tweet asking a simple question. 2 years from now, at this exact time, you'll be standing in the places you used to dream about. And send this to yourself. You know, I like these kind of motivational posts and these posts that instill moments of thoughtfulness in you. And I do think that this is this is a form of time travel that we tend to take for granted. Our ability to, from our position in the present, send messages into the future, send effort and intention into the future. And this is something that I think is important to people who identify themselves as being inside the new organized world. The ability to project forward and think, 2 years from now, at this exact time, you'll be standing in the places you used to dream about. So then the question we're forced to deal with then is well, what are we really dreaming about right now? My boys, Tony in the chat said, makes me think of time is going to pass regardless, so do it or don't. That's another thing. I mean, to bring awareness to the conversation, I'm glad you say that because as I say, if you find yourself in the new organized world, this is how we want to think about it. But you don't have to think about it either. You could just go on with your life doing anything else, and that time's still gonna pass, But as far as people who get to hear this message come from me and get to take anything from this message, that's what I would like to strike at, is that bit of inspiration that if we got a chance to consciously take advantage of this time, we should be consciously thinking about that. In 2 years from now, we'll be standing in the places that we used to dream about. While we still got a chance to shape those dreams, while we still got a chance to influence the form that those dreams take, I think we should take a little bit of extra brain power to say, man, this is what I want my dreams to look like. And then from there, I want to go further because the next most interesting thing that happened on my Twitter this past week was this shot of LeBron and Bronny playing together, which by itself is ridiculous to say the least. Like LeBron being 41 years old and in the league for what feels like another 41 years is crazy. And not only like he's just like the old head that refuses to retire, like he's still contributing. He's still like a really good player on his team. Crazy. And now he's even gotten to the point where he made one of his own teammates. I'm not exaggerating when I use that language. He literally made his own teammate. And that guy is on the team. He throwing passes and alley-oops to him. Funny. So someone posted this on Twitter, and it's a shot of Bron feeding his son in 2006 versus Bron feeding his son in 2026. And the difference between these two videos is hilarious. And if I pull these up close, I want y'all to get a chance to see this up close. Just this video of LeBron and Bronny from 2026, 20 years ago, a whole 20 years ago. This is what these dudes was doing. Look at how cute little Bronny is. Hold on. I don't think y'all getting audio from the I don't think y'all getting audio from the TV here. Hold on, let me see if I can fix that real quick. Let me just try to test that out here. 1 second, 1 second. All right, we still there. The powers that be don't want you exposing, releasing information that they don't want out there. They will set you up. No, that is what's happening. That's why I think everybody's antennas is going up right now. All right, y'all getting audio from the TV now. Speaking of time travel, excuse me for playing audio from last week. All right, so here we go. I wanted to show y'all this video of LeBron feeding Bronny in 2006, and y'all should be able to hear the audio now. Too cute, too cute. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm messing up the controls now. Trying to go back now. If I play the audio from the 2026 version, hold on. Hold on, it don't look like I'm getting audio again. Hold on, I'm having technical difficulties with this. I'm gonna try to fix it one more time. Live on the air real quick. Can that work? Will that work? I don't know why that's not working right now. I can try to fix that later. One of my homies did tell me, he was like, yeah, man, you got to turn the audio up on the TV. I'm looking like I could turn the audio up, but like now that I'm here, it's not just turn it up. It's not working altogether. that's not working. I'm also having a weird night with the TikTok. My TikTok ain't connecting the way it's supposed to. I keep getting a connection failed message from TikTok. What's going on over there on the TikTok side, though? Oh, well, look, there go messages from TikTok. Those is old, though. Is it coming in? It might be. It's all good. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I ain't had no real technical difficulties in a few weeks, so it's funny to have a couple little issues pop up here today. It's all good, though. We ain't tripping on that. I am kind of tripping on why my TV volume ain't working, though. That's annoying me for tonight. I wish I had a quick answer for that, y'all.
Nana.
Oh, wait, no, it looks like it's working now. Hold on.
Nana.
Okay, hold on. Can I zoom in here? If I show it one more time, it looks like I got volume working here now.
Nana. Nana. You done?
You told me to stop.
Okay, stop.
All right, that's adorable, right? LeBron feeding Bronny, and he's a baby there. All the way up to 2026, feeding him alley-oops in the playoffs.
Up top, Bronny James from his dad.
We got to watch that one again.
LA on the move. Up top, Bronny James from his dad.
LeBron tossing lobs to his boy. 20 years later, that's crazy. And I feel like that's like some real time travel stuff. Like without getting into like some crazy rabbit hole theories about, crazy physics and mathematics, like that's time travel right there. This dude built part of the future and then lived long enough to see it happen. Like if I put it here, before going any further into portals and paradoxes, I would want to talk about one of the most beautiful forms of time travel we've seen in public. A father still present long enough to stand beside his futures he helped raise. Watching LeBron and Bronny share that basketball timeline is not just a sports story, it's a living symbol. The past did not vanish. The future did not politely offstage. They wore the same uniform and stepped into the same arena. Crazy that we got to see that happen in real time and talk about how time likes to rhyme. I looked at this and I tweeted, here you can see my tweet. Can someone take the audio of the first video and put it to the visual of the second video? And what you get then, this version that comes up.
Nana. Nana. You done?
You told me to stop.
Okay, stop.
I love the little part when like little Bronny.
Nana. You done?
You told me to stop.
Okay, stop. Nana.
It's funny how that audio syncs up so perfectly. Like the audio of LeBron feeding Bronny as a baby, how that just lines up so perfectly with this visual of him feeding Bronny as an adult in the league. It's crazy. I want to watch it one more time.
Nana. You done?
You told me to stop.
Okay, stop.
That's a heartwarming moment, man. One for the ages. Shout out to LeBron on his time traveler shit, man. Crazy. Look at this, just to further encapsulate how crazy this was. LeBron and Bronny really went on a 10-0 run together in a playoff game. 10 points straight scored by just the James duo. Crazy that we got to live to see that. I don't know. I think I also provide this for comedy. Just as another example of how taking examples from the past to influence our future. This is funny. These dudes was playing this game, and it's like they talking to this like AI there. Yeah. It looks like it's not working again. I don't know. I got to figure out what's going on with the audio here. I thought this was interesting to capture too. No audio needed for this one. Just if we pull this up close. The consciousness matrix. This is a snapshot from a CIA document describing our universe. Interesting. If we look at this, it describes our universe as following. The universe is composed of interacting energy fields, some at rest and some in motion. It is, in and of itself, one gigantic hologram of unbelievable complexity, according to the theories of Carl Pribram, a neuroscientist at Stanford University, and David Bohm, a physicist at University of London. The human mind is also a hologram which attunes itself to the universal hologram by the medium of energy exchange, thereby deducing meaning and achieving the state which we all call consciousness. One gigantic hologram of unbelievable complexity, which again makes it not sound so crazy when we come to the conclusion that not only is time travel real, but what kind of decisions do we start to make about our lives once we finally sit with and realize the fact that time travel is real, not something that might be real. How this all ties back into the idea of disclosure again. I think I'm going to go ahead and light my joint here. I think we firmly into the show and we're starting to get into the signal drift now. I'm going to go ahead and light my joint here. If you got your joint, it's a good time for you to go ahead and light yours with me. I want to listen to what David Grush got to say about it. Let's hear him put it in his words.
Human intelligence. I know that sounds very Star Trek, a la, Gene Roddenberry and Rod's dad's sci-fi series, but it is true. And I want, the American public to be comforted that the universe is teeming with life, it seems, and readily, able to be explored. And the U.S. government does have a lot of information that I think will inspire Gen Alpha and Gen Z and the American populace at large. And it will be a new era. It'll be a little uncomfortable. There'll be some truths that are be a hard pill to swallow, but I think it's ultimately a good thing to get this out there. And I think the people of the world and the American public will be very happy to understand their place in the universe, so to speak, without sounding too much like Carl Sagan.
Well, I want to.
There's truly anomalous signatures in the skies. The U.S. government understands it represents a form of sentient, non-human intelligence. I know that sounds very Star Trek, a la, Gene Roddenberry and Rod's dad's sci-fi series, but it is true. And I want, the American public to be comforted that the universe is teeming with life, it seems, and readily, able to be explored. And the U.S. government does have a lot of information that I think will inspire Gen Alpha and Gen Z and the American populace at large. And it will be a new era. It'll be a little uncomfortable. There'll be some truths that are be a hard pill to swallow, but I think it's ultimately a good thing to get this out there. And I think the people of the world and the American public will be very happy to understand their place in the universe, so to speak, without sounding too much like Carl Sagan.
Huh. So there's going to be some uncomfortable truths to deal with once this disclosure happens, huh? But saying that humans should be excited to learn their place in the universe. Should be happy to learn that we aren't alone in the universe. How about that? Now, that's going to be hard for some people to swallow, like people who think that, people who think stuff like humans are God's only creation, and that, that God wouldn't have had any other life forms that he created on any other planets. Well, if we find out the aliens are real, that's going to pop a whole lot of those kind of people's worldviews overnight. That's going to be fun to see. Maybe uncomfortable for some people too when we realize with this advanced technology that's going to come out of this new era, when we get free energy devices, people are going to realize man, I spent all of those years working for, to pay a gas bill, and we don't even use gas no more. That's going to be hard for some people to deal with. That energy is actually free. I can see how that would actually be a radical change for a lot of people in the way they view our day-to-day lives. So, getting back into the question here. If you're just joining us tonight, we're talking about time travel. Not only the science fiction version, but the human version. What message would you send to your future? What message would you send to your future self, your past self, or the people who come after you? We are just now crossing the 30-minute mark for the night. I think that's going to be a good place for us to go ahead and take a little reset here. We're going to watch a couple commercials, and then we're going to come back and do the thing for real. How that sound, Cosmo?
Style not found.
In an increasingly complex world, people are finding new ways to stay balanced. Personal cloud is now part of the environment. Available everywhere, the future is already happening.
Personal Cloud helps you retrieve what matters. For access, contact your IT department. Availability subject to reality.
The trash tape. Tremendous resilience affects stupid humans.
What kind of name is that? Doesn't matter.
You seen this?
I'm trying not to.
The trash tape. Available in dumpsters everywhere.
Welcome back to Let's Agree to Disagree tonight. Signal is locked. Let's continue.
I still do want to expand the commercials portion of our broadcast. And I do want to do some more actual like sponsorships and real advertisements. That advertisement for the trash tape. Shout out to my boy Jesus. Came on the show one of the early weeks of the show. The first and only guest of the show so far. I do need to get some more guests on the show too. I've been thinking about that too. I did have one person lined up. I ain't gonna spoil it because I still might be able to get them on the show. And I hope they ain't sorry that I missed them that one night. But man, it's just another level of organization and preparation it takes to reliably, consistently get guests on here. Something that I'm working on though. And then in addition to that, I want to get some more commercials on here too. It'll be interesting figuring that out because as much as I figured out about AI video generation, my main method, which was using the Sora app, is gone. They killed the Sora app. There's no more Sora app. So I got to figure out how I'm going to build the rest of this show without Sora. It's funny because I'm here now at episode 17. Like we just about made it halfway. One episode short of halfway. Next week will be the real halfway point where we'll have 18 episodes done and 18 episodes to go. But here, just about approaching that halfway mark. That does represent a huge change for the structure of the show and how things are going to look going forward. I got some things to figure out without having my tried and true and trusty video generation method with Sora. They took my Sora away from me, man. Okay, enough rambling on. We about to get on to our next segment here, one that we like to call the Resonance Report. All right, let's do it. This is the Resonance Report, your weekly briefing on the tools, tremors, and tectonic shifts moving through the AI age. I have 8 stories for you here today. First up, OpenAI dropped GPT 5.5. And the headline is simple. The machines are getting better at doing actual work, not just sounding confident while inventing a sandwich. OpenAI says the new model is stronger at coding, research, computer use, and long, messy tasks that used to require a human babysitter and a mild headache. Second story, OpenAI and Microsoft also rewired their partnership, which is corporate speak for the empire has updated the map. Microsoft stays the primary cloud partner, but OpenAI now has more freedom to serve customers across other clouds too. A big sign that the AI stack is becoming too important to live inside one castle. Story number 3. Google is pushing Gemini deeper into everyday life, including a rollout to cars with Google built in. So yes, your vehicle is now one software update away from becoming a somewhat chatty metal family member. Story number 4. Google is also defending its Pentagon AI work after initial backlash, arguing that democracies should stay engaged in military AI rather than leave that field to the rivals. Translation, AI for productivity era is fully merging with the AI for state power era, and nobody gets to pretend otherwise anymore. Story number 5. In China, NVIDIA's newest B300 AI servers reportedly shot up to around $1 million each, $1 million each, as U.S. curbs and anti-smuggling pressure squeeze supply. That's not just a pricing story. That's the sound of the chip war turning into geopolitical religion. Story number 6. Italy's media regulator asked the EU to investigate Google's AI search tools over publisher concerns. The fight is getting clearer. AI companies want to summarize the internet, and publishers would prefer not to become unpaid background radiation. Story number 7. Meta says it lost around 20 million daily users across its family of apps last quarter, and responded by planning to spend even more on AI anyway. In other words, when the audience wobbles, the altar of compute receives another truckload of incense. And last up, story number 8. Meanwhile, the broader arms race keeps swelling. Reuters says big tech's AI bet has now ballooned towards 700 billion, with Google Cloud gaining momentum. The week's core message is not subtle. Everybody is spending like the future has a deadline. Why this matters? The signal this week is that AI is no longer just a novelty layer sitting on top of culture. It is becoming infrastructure for work, media, war, search, cars, and political power. For LATDT, that means the best lane is not cover AI because it's trendy. It's to frame AI as the new control layer shaping who gets attention, who gets paid, who gets watched, and who gets to define reality. Here's what to watch for next. Whether GPT 5.5 meaningfully changes creative and production workflows or just raises expectations another notch. Whether regulators in Europe and the US start moving harder on AI search, training data, and publisher compensation. And lastly, whether the chip conflict with China keeps tightening, because that story is starting to look less like business news and more like destiny with export paperwork. That has been this week's version of the Resonance Report. All right. I think that's going to just about do it for me this week. Real boy, Mexico, coast to coast. Yeah, we just about to hit the 40-minute mark. I don't think I got to go too much past 40 minutes this week. I think this episode turned out cool. Again, this was one of those episodes where like I wasn't really sure of how I wanted to do this or how this one was going to turn out or what I really expected from this one. This kind of was just like turn the cameras on and see what happens. And I guess it happened. It happened. And I think we got an interesting point across. The greater point just being, time travel might actually be real. And, before you worry about aliens and before you worry about the greater society and, the lies and deceptions from our government and all of that stuff, I want to give LATDT viewers the moment to just consider, what does time travel really mean to you? What does time travel really affect for you personally? And again, if time travel is really real, what kind of messages do you want to send to yourself in the future? If time travel is really real, what kind of messages would you like to send to yourself in the past? Maybe there's something that past you really needs to hear from the current you. What my present self wants to say to my future self is, man, the first thing that keeps coming into my mind is just like, man, we did it. I don't even know what we did yet. But and if I get to talk to myself 2 years from now, that's the first thing I'm thinking. The first thing I'm feeling is just that sense of pride and that sense of accomplishment. Like, man, you did it. Good work. I'm glad you made it. Like the first thing on my mind right now is like, what is this let's agree to disagree tonight project going to become? Because the plan is, for this to go for 36 weeks. Like I said, next week could be halfway there. We have 18 episodes done with 18 episodes to go. I don't know. I don't even know fully what like this is supposed to turn into yet when we're done here. A lot of this was like even just like the experiment to get us to this point, to even like reliably say like, man, if we do this and it works, like we could get to this point. I think that was a hard enough bridge to overcome. I don't know. We've got more work to do on all sides here. More work to do in the future, more work to do in the past, more work to do in our present. But the good news is with this heightened level of awareness, we can do a better job of handling that. We can do a better job of, forecasting and preparing ourselves for what should follow these events. I'm going to get ready to wrap it up there. So tonight we asked about time travel. And not only the kind with machines, portals, paradoxes, and classified equations, but the kind we already live inside. Memory is a form of time travel. Regret is a form of time travel. A parent looking at their child is watching the future learn how to breathe. An older version of yourself looking back with compassion is proof that something survived long enough to become wisdom. And maybe that is why the question matters. If you could speak to the past, would you only send warnings? If you could speak to the future, would you only ask for answers? Or would you send something more useful? A signal, a phrase, a rhythm. A reminder that says, you are not lost just because you do not yet understand the map. Maybe the deepest form of time travel is not escaping the present. Maybe it is living in such a way that the future receives something better than fear. So if the future can hear us, let it hear this. We were confused, yes. We were noisy, yes. We were not fully optimized, clearly. But we were trying to become worthy ancestors in real time. That's all we have time for tonight. The future is complicated, the signal is noisy, and none of us are fully optimized. But I'm Mexico Johnson, and this has been Let's Agree to Disagree Tonight.